Item tier list for Season 14 for the dog. Here we go. Now, there isn't going to be a single build, guys, like a single set-in-stone build, because Season 14 is going to be all about just finding appropriate builds for the appropriate items for the situation. Now, I am going to let you know about my builds, what I think is, you know, arguably the best items you can buy at the end of this. But they're just going to be items that will be good, and you will have to decide when to buy them, just by looking at the enemy team comp. Now, also, you might be curious, guy, like Karn, but why is there no S tier? Well, because there are no freaking S tier items for Nasus Season 14 right now. Last season, it would be 2 items that got removed, so Sunder and Stompy would both be S tier. This season, currently, we don't have a single S tier item for Nasus, and it's just... S just stands for Sunder and Stoneblade, because they both start with S. And the closest one to S tier is probably another item that starts with S. So Sterex, which right now we might already put it over here, but it's not in the end, because Sterex is a great item in general, but it's not quite S tier. It's not Stoneblade, right? Stoneblade is just insane. Sterex is very, very good. It provides tenacity this season. It's definitely... You can build Sterex in every build unless you're going like AP Nasus, right? But you can build Sterex in literally every build, and you're gonna feel the difference. You're definitely gonna feel the difference. The tenacity is gonna be nice. The shield is gonna be nice. Extra damage is gonna be nice. Everything is gonna be nice about this item. Very strong. It's not too expensive. You know, that's one advantage, I guess. It's less expensive than a Stoneblade was. But yeah, Unending Despair. This item, I would put it in C tier. The reason why this item goes to C tier, C or B? I'm kind of in the middle. It's like C plus, B minus. I built this item like twice or 3 times so far. It didn't do anything really. I didn't feel like it. I mean, okay, let's just say B minus. It's not quite C tier item. It has decent stats too. Okay, it's not expensive either. It's all right. It's definitely all right. You could build it, and occasionally, if you're playing, for example, against a lot of melee champions, it's gonna proc. Keep in mind that we're playing Season 14 when the damage is so high that you're gonna die very, very quick. And the problem is that there are arguably better armor items than this. But let's just put it in B. Sundered Sky, I'm gonna put it in B. Next patch, it's gonna get better. It's gonna lose 10 AD and gain 150 health. It's gonna have 450 health. Next patch, it actually could go like B plus, A minus. Keep in mind that this item is good as a 5th or 6th item usually, for one simple reason. The healing that it provides, you know, the passive that you can deal a crit every 6 seconds to every unique champion. And this crit heals you for like blah 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 amounts of health. Healing always scales with resistances for Nasus. That's why the best builds for Nasus always were tank builds, because that increases your healing simultaneously. It takes longer for you for them to like drop you by 1000 health when you have 300 armor than, for example, if you had 100 armor, right? So it's like, you know, it's basic math. And the reason why this item is good, like as a 5th or 6th item, is exactly that. Like, first you want to get your resistances, your ability haste, blah blah blah, stuff like that. Some like randoms, for example, crit damage reduction, as much damage reduction as you can get, preferably even Sterex, because you get the shield. So during the shield time, you can still proc it once or twice, right? And then you want to get this to actually make the healing impactful. This is not a bad item. Next patch is going to be actually quite nice. Would I put it like in A tier? Like, oh crap, this item is so good. I just want to... you just can't go wrong with buying this item. I just want to buy this right now. No. But it's it has its uses. I think it's a pretty nice 5th or 6th item. It gets even better if enemy team has like a low damage. It's a low damage team comp with a lot of supports, because you will stay in the fight longer, you will heal for more, and it provides a little bit of damage, so it's also like not horrible, right? Hextech, this plate thing, whatever. This item, C tier. It's not quite D tier. I wouldn't put it like, you know what, I would never ever want to even touch this item in my life. I mean, it's kind of C minus, like D plus, I would say. Because, like, I'm only going to talk about the items, which these items that are usable for Nasus end here. In my opinion, the rest is just not even worth mentioning, right? And until here, like, every item is, like, at least in some capacity, could be, like, useful, right? So I guess everything else is gonna be like D tier, but, like, you know, C tier is just these items you're still probably not gonna buy, so I guess it's fair enough, right? But C tier, this item is not very useful. It provides mostly attack speed. It's good for something like Jax. Good for something like, I don't know, something that scales with attack speed and can use their ult quite comfortably. This item is not for Nasus, period. Now, Abyssal Mask. If I was about to put this item somewhere, I would say that's just probably like B minus. It's not expensive. It's quite cheap. Could give you stats that you want for cheap price, and this is important. Many people, like, usually when they look at the items, like, they say, "Oh, this item is so good." Oh, they don't look at the price, right? Price is extremely important in League of Legends, especially the higher you climb. So not really in every elo. In reality, because in low elo you get gold slower because you farm less, so gold is very important stat when you look at the items, which we're gonna get to later when we'll be talking about support items. but this is like a pretty cheap item that provides decent stats. It works even better if you have AP champions on your team, right? It's gonna be. It's not. Look, if you're gonna build this, I'm not like gonna say, oh, you just troll build, right? You're probably troll building if you're building items from the C category. B, not necessarily. These items could be useful. Anathemas, I'm going to put it on. This would be probably like a B plus, A minus item. It provides a lot of health, which can be useful in many situations. Honestly, in my opinion, now with the patch 14.2, this item probably lost a little bit of its value. Because you get so much health from... You get double HP rune shards, which before it was only one rune shard and it was providing less health. And on top of that, you get overgrowth because unflinching is dead. So health is not that insane. But this item is still extremely useful occasionally when there is like 15-0 AD carry on an enemy team and you just want him to do less damage to you. It's still gonna work just fine. Other than that, you probably would want to get something else, but yeah. So Black Cleaver, B tier. Now, people usually talk that, like in this season, that Nasus lost Sunder and he can't deal with tanks at all. If you're looking to deal with a tank, this is probably the best item to go for it. It's not gonna be Bork. Bork is in general very effective against huge amounts of HP. Tanks stack armor and HP, primarily huge amounts of armor. Bork is not going to be that effective into tanks, but that's only the part of the problem, because Bork not only is more expensive, but also doesn't really provide stats that we look for. Black Cleaver is actually very nice, provides HP and provides ability haste. So if you're looking for an item that if you want to like deal with tanks and look for some more damage into tanks, then Black Cleaver is probably going to be your best option, because Black Cleaver is not grief in a team fight afterwards. It's gonna work in a side lane, it's gonna work in a team fight because it provides health, it provides ability haste. With little tempo, you get stacks faster, so it's actually pretty decent. Bork goes into C tier for the exact, for these reasons basically. Like Bork, it's not an item that you just like, oh, you're gonna build Bork into Fiora and you're griefing. Like look, it has some value into some champions, but in my opinion, if you're looking for some damage options, then this one's gonna be better, right? Bork is going to be, I don't know. This item, I am actually going to put in. It's C plus. It's like C plus. If this was like, you know, if the order mattered, let's just say that order matters. So it would be something like this. Probably at the top of the B tier, this. Then maybe something like this. I mean, all these items are pretty equal. I would say Sundered Sky is probably the best out of these, and these are situational. So yeah, so this is situational. This will be probably like something like this maybe, because there are situations sometimes when you really need grievous wounds, and enemy team is basically full AP or 1 AD and full AP after that. And your teammate, your bronze silver teammates, freaking dumbasses, don't want to build the grievous wounds, and you just have to. And it's pointless to build Bramble because they're full AP. So you're just gonna buy this, literally. This is not a useless item, completely useless. It also provides 250 health and 15 ability haste. So it's just like, you know, if you have to, you have to. But it's going to be very occasional, just like this, for example. This item, on the other hand, I would just say that I could put it in D tier, man, honestly. For Nasus, I could put it in D tier. If we're talking about these items are like, you pretty much can't go wrong by buying them. Let's just say A tier. B tier is just like strong, but you can buy it occasionally, you know, for the right occasion. C, not too strong, but sometimes you might need them. Very rarely you might need one of these. And D, pretty much don't touch. So if we had such explanation on these tiers, and I would say that D tier is this one, but like, you know, Hextech is probably this. Alright, the Deadmans. We're gonna put it like at the top of the C tier. I never liked this item, and I don't think this item is good on Nasus. I'll be honest. Movement speed, moving around the map, technically I always say it's a very strong stat. The problem with this item is that it provides so little stats, and the passive is freaking whatever for Nasus, because he is Wither. So passive is the slow with extra damage. This thing is pretty much wasted. Stats it provides is are very low. I just don't like this. It's you know, I'm not gonna put it behind this, because if you build this item, then you know it's still better than this, or like, you know, it's not complete grief, but Deadman is freaking. This item doesn't provide enough stats. Nasus needs stats. I'm sorry. We lost Stoneblade. We're just trying to fit in stats whatever we can. This is Fimble Winter, also known as Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier is going to be in probably at the end of the B. There are two benefits to this item. Number one, it provides infinite mana. It is kind of a deficit as well, a detrimental thing, because you're forced to buy tier early if you're looking to buy this item later. But this item provides very solid amount of health, especially if you combine it with Frozen Heart, which we're going to talk about in a second. Very strong amount of health. Infinite mana, obviously. It provides shields every now and then. It provides some ability haste. It's definitely B tier, definitely not C tier. Are there stronger, better tank items in my opinion? Yes. Is this item bad? No. You can still experiment, build it. If you, for example, struggle a lot with mana, or your playstyle is a little bit different. For example, if you just Emax or like put points into E second, not Wither, then you will need more mana, and this item will be of a bigger value to you. But it's definitely not a C tier item. No. Provides a lot of health plus shields. If you proc shield twice in a team fight, this item in total is gonna give you around 1,000 shield plus health. So like it's like by default it's better than Varmox, for example, right? By default. Only if we look at health, it's already better than this. It would work better if we were forced to max E second, not Wither. I mean forced, if we wanted, right? It would be a little bit better. Frozen, excuse me, not Frozen Heart. Force of Nature, kinda, unfortunately, a shell of what it was in Season 1. Even though it provides more stats, but this just shows how big of a power creep we are. From all the magic resistance items, I value this one the lowest. Because movement speed in team fights. Movement speed outside of a team fight is a very valuable stat because you just move faster around the map, you push faster, you move to objectives faster. It's amazing. Movement speed in team fights for Nasus is usually useless because there are two speeds in this game: fast as shit or slow as ass. And if you move fast, you just wither someone, you ghost to them. Nobody's touching you, right? You're not getting slowed by anything. You just move towards them, you bonk. Congratulations, they're kind plus 12. Now, if you move slow as ass, you just can't move in this game, especially after they removed unflinching. You just can't move in this game. If something slows you, or touches you, or CCs you, or does something else, or like whatever, right? You just can't get to them. So, in my opinion, movement speed in team fights is extremely overrated. And this item doesn't even provide more tankiness than other MR options, which we're going to talk about. This item doesn't even provide more, simply because it gives you like what? 125 magic resistance at full stacks, cool. And no special effects. And first of all, they need to proc. I mean, you need to get full stacks of steadfast before you can even use the passive. So it's not like it works all the time. So I'm not a big fan. It's not a C tier item again. If you want to build it, it's just it will have value against AP champions. But I can't put it higher than at the end of the B tier. You know, it's just like B minus in my opinion. Especially with the amount of magic penetration and armor penetration we have in the game. Something like this, you always look for items that provide some effects. Pure stats and nothing else. Items like that are overrated. They're usually overrated. Because usually something is gonna penetrate you, deal percent damage, and all these stats are freaking... They just go bye-bye, right? You want to see items with effects. Like, for example, 30% crit damage reduction rendezvous is freaking insane against crit team comps. But, you know, we're gonna talk about it later. Frozen Heart, A tier. This item... Alright. How to put it, guys? This is an A tier item that's simultaneously probably my most hated Nasus item of all time. I never liked this item for exact the same reason why I talked about like 20 seconds before. So it's just pure armor, right? The thing is, this armor item is too efficient not to buy it. It's just too efficient. It's 2400 gold. The moment you complete it, something like Jax that was doing a lot of damage to you, it doesn't do damage anymore. Right? 2400 gold. It gives you useful passive, which is 20% attack speed reduction on nearby champions. Another useful passive, which is reduction from auto attacks, damage reduction from auto attacks. It gives you mana. If you buy this, you never have to deal. You never worry about mana anymore. Pretty much, you can stay in silent as long as you want. 400 is enough. 400 is a lot, because Nasus doesn't really get that much mana per level, and his base mana is low as well. So 400 flat is a lot. Then you get 70 armor, which is very good stat for the early game. And guess when we buy this item, it's freaking early game pretty much. It's like early game, mid game, second item pretty much, after your Sheen item. And then it provides 20 ability haste, which is also important because we have less in the game overall. So all of that for 2400 gold, that is some next level efficiency, man. And I'm not surprised that Riot nerfed this item dispatch by 100 gold, because it was probably it was just too efficient, honestly. But for us, I can't, I hate this item, but it provides everything that Nasus would want. So it's just it is what it is, man. It is what it is. It's unlucky, but I have to put this item in A tier. It's strong. It's just good, man. Arguably, it lost 100 gold in efficiency because they nerfed it, but arguably it got even better this patch for one simple reason: because we have double HP rune shards now with overgrowth. Again, unflinching is dead. That base health that we got pretty much for free works pretty well with the armor and the lack of health that Frozen Heart has. So arguably this patch got even stronger than before. Arguably. But that's just my opinion. You might have different one. But that extra health that you get for free pretty much works really well with this. So Heartsteel, I'm not gonna put it in C tier just because it provides a lot of health and it scales. I'm gonna put it in B tier. Look, if someone's gonna come up with insane Heartsteel build that's gonna give me rank 1 challenger this season, look, hit me up, okay? I'm gonna test it. But for now it goes in B tier. Unfortunately, it's just pure health. There is too much % damage in this game for pure health to be useful. Nasus is also not a champion that gets stacks very, very easily. It is what it is, man. It just goes in B tier, probably at the end of the B tier, because, you know, I was testing it in the beginning of the season, and I don't even know what to say. It got buffed too. It was 800 health, now it's 900 health. But everyone says, like when I was asking other people that play tanks, other people say that it's much worse this season. It is what it is. Coolbreaker, B tier. Now, this is one of the options that could give you more split pushing power. It's better than last season. It's better than last season for one simple reason. It doesn't, technically you don't lose anything when you team fight with this item anymore, which is cool, I guess. You don't have this FOMO, like the fear of missing out, right? Like, oh no, I can never team fight with this item because it's just like, you know, I don't have an item. If I have team fight with it, like what? It's just not worth it. You don't have that anymore, but this item is still probably not the best. The reason why I am a huge opponent of Hullbreaker for years now, since it was pretty much created, I don't think this item is great on Nasus, simply because Nasus doesn't really have problems pushing turrets. He pushes turrets very, very fast. And this is the main selling point of this item, right? You know, people usually buy this item to be a bigger split pushing threat. Nasus doesn't need that. Doesn't really need that. Now, this season it got changed, and it provides extra, let's just say Sheen proc every 5 auto attacks or Qs that you press on an enemy. And it's actually pretty cool. And that actually provides decent amount of extra damage. But is this the best option if you're looking to, you know, get more damage and stuff? No. But it's not horrible if you're gonna build it again. I'm not gonna freaking, you know, if you're ever gonna have coaching with me in the future. Oh, guy, look, I built Hullbreaker, Karn. I'm like, I'm not gonna just like freaking, you know, explode and like, oh, come on, man, what are you doing, man? It's okay. Iceborne, B tier. Now, it hurts my heart tremendously to put this item in B tier, but I have to. Riot, if you're ever gonna watch this, please buff this item. It's too weak. The cost efficiency is around 85%, basically without a passive, because you already built Sheen before. The Sheen proc doesn't get any stronger. The only thing you get for completing the item is you get the slowing aura thingy, right? The slowing zone, and that's it. This item is extremely gold inefficient, even though it's cheap. It needs something. It needs some stats. Like, I don't know, 400 health and 20 ability haste. Would that be okay? I hope so, because it needs something. Riot, please. There is like a never-ending war. At least it was in the past, because for last three seasons we had Sunder at the top and nothing else, right? Sunder was the best item in the game for Nasus. But before that, for many years, some of you might not remember, we had like never-ending war between Triforce and Iceborne users. In my opinion, Iceborne was always not even close the best Sheen item for Nasus. It's just amazing. And Triforce was not even close. But nowadays, Iceborne is just too weak. And and I would love to put it in A tier and build it more often. Unfortunately, currently, it's still not a bad item though. It's very cheap. If you're gonna ever see like a full AD team comp, you just buy this. I'm gonna put it like definitely higher. Like this probably goes around here, something like that. Maybe here. If you're ever gonna see full AD team comp, you just buy this. You buy Tabi, and that's it. They just don't do damage to you in the early game, right? Later on, if they on top of that, if they crit, you just buy this on top of that, and they just don't do damage to you. until like 25, 28 minutes, something like this. So it's still useful. It's still good. It's still a Sheen item, but it's not great. It needs more stats. It's too weak right now. Next up, we have Jack Show, B tier. Many people will be surprised. Jack Show? Jack Show is like Stoneplay. Like, you wouldn't put Stoneplay in the B tier, right? Jack Show is like a freaking very miserable copy of Stoneplay. This is like freaking garbage in there. Like, way weaker in every way imaginable. It's so much weaker, it's crazy. Provides less armor, less magic resistance. You trade 300 health for like freaking 2000 shield, which is what are we freaking talking about? The passive doesn't work. The biggest gripe I have with this item is that the passive does not work until you are in combat with champions for 5 seconds. I hate that. Why didn't they change it so that you get 6% bonus armor, 6% bonus magic resistance per second until after 5 seconds you get 30% max? Why didn't they do it like this? Is there anyone that even builds this item right now in the game? Like Ramus maybe? And that's it? Like armor stackers? I don't know, man. This item sucks. For Nasus at least. Look, it doesn't suck. It's just like if you're gonna build it, it's just gonna do its work, right? But I just don't like it, man. I don't like the fact that, you know, in a game where you can explode sometimes in 3 seconds, nice. You get after 5 seconds you get bonus resistances. Nice, cool, amazing. Now we're gonna combine all of these together. Support items. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna put all of them together in B tier. Now, listen to me. Listen to me, guys, for a second. Support items historically, and I've been doing that in previous seasons as well, thinking about them at least. Support items historically are very overstat for its price. Supports get less gold, therefore Riot decided to give them very powerful items for cheap cost, and very few players realize that they're actually pretty damn useful. There's a good chance that I will be building one of these instead of Frozen Heart. If Frozen Heart didn't get very good changes in Season 14, it wasn't so gold efficient now. But Frozen Heart Season 14 got basically giga buffed. Let's just put it this way. If Frozen Heart didn't get giga buffed, I would probably considering building one of these items as a second item instead of Frozen Heart, and that would be totally fine. Because they're so cheap, they provide very good stats. They provide good actives for your team and for yourself as well. Here you have Cleanse. Like literally free Cleanse, right? Just like how much better is this item compared to this if you're looking for Cleanse? Like how much better is that? Right? It's just freaking, it's not even close. It's insane. This will cost you 800 more gold, and this still provides better stats. So these support items, I am not like the biggest fan of them because Frozen Heart, in my opinion, it just has the edge. But if you're for example, your build is Triforce first, and then you want to buy one of these, look, feel free to experiment because it's not going to be a bad buy. In almost never it's going to be a bad buy, especially if you're good at using these actives like properly, right? If you just remember about using them, this can definitely be game changer. In my opinion, they're not better than Frozen Heart, but they could be used and they're not troll. And that's all I'm gonna say. Just if you don't believe me, just look at their cost and look what these items provide, how many stats it provides for how much gold, and you're gonna be surprised because they really provide a lot of stats. Randuin's, bada bing, bada boom. Period. Now, Randuin's is not an item that is going to be built every game. But I'm going to talk about it at the end when we're done with every item in my explanation why this item is going to be in A tier. This is a situational item, but when the situation is right, this is like the best tank item in the game. Like if enemy team has 2 crit users, or you know, for some reason they decided to pick 3, you just build this second and they just don't do damage to you anymore. That's it. 30% crit damage reduction, rock solid passive, 55 armor, 400 health for 2700 gold. I mean, dude, just sign me up, okay? Just literally sign me up. because there's nothing to talk about. This is like for the situation when they're stacking crit, even if they didn't have crit stackers, even if they only have one crit, this item is still probably B+. If you're gonna build it, it's still amazing. Because this one crit user late game is gonna be freaking scratching your ball sack, pretty much. I mean, scratching your ball sack. I mean, we're talking about, you know, season 14 damage, but it's gonna definitely reduce damage they're gonna deal to you by a lot, and still, it's not like a dead item. After this one crit user hits you, it's not a dead item. It still provides 400 health, 55 armor, and rock solid passive for 2700. It's still not bad after that. It's not horrible. When it comes to raw stats, it still has more stats than Iceborne. Like literally, it has more raw stats after Iceborne, and it's not even counting amazing crit damage reduction passive. We're not even count that. So like what are we talking about? Cerildus, C tier. Surprisingly, Cerildus lands in C tier because they changed it to season 14. Now it scales with Fatality. I'll be honest, if you're looking to a way to deal with tanks, just build Black Cleaver. I would be willing even to put Cerildus in D tier. I'm not gonna lie, but it's just like C-. It's not the same tier as this Hex Deck thing. Like, let's be honest. But it's bad. It's just bad. This item lands in C tier as well. It's not completely useless, but honestly, if you're just looking for, it provides magic resistance too, a lot, which is good. But if you're looking to get a cleanse, just buy this. Just literally buy this. It costs less. It provides health too. The cleanse provides health. Just buy this. It's not completely useless. There might be one rare case where, oh, I need magic resistance and I need cleanse. I'm playing against Malzahar. Maybe this is going to be like, maybe like, is it D tier? Like, on the verge, both of these items are like on the verge of D tier, I would say. They're gonna be at the end of the C tier list. Spear of Shojin. It goes in B, and it goes in high B. Probably around here. Probably next to Black Cleaver. If you're looking for a generic damage item, outside of, you know, your Sheen item, so Triforce basically. If you're looking for a generic damage item that will give you bigbongs.com, plus more ability haste, plus health, and it's going to be overall, you will feel more powerful with this item, just go for this. This item provides a lot of damage. The percent damage bonus works on your Q. I believe it works on your ult as well. So your ult does 20% more damage as well, once it's stacked. It provides absolutely massive amount of ability haste. Very nice item. It's probably the most powerful generic damage item that you can get on Nasus right now, if you're not looking to penetrate armor, which then this one would be probably better. But this one is also very good. So if you're looking to have bigger bonks and you're like, you know, you have your tank items completed, then you can go for this. Spirit. Spirit is going to go over here. Why Spirit goes over here? Because we have Rukern, which is unfortunately not on this list. But it's fine. We're gonna have Rukern. I'm gonna talk about Rukern at the end. Spirit goes here for one simple reason. Spirit is a, as itself, if you just buy it and do not utilize its passive, it's just like a B tier item. It has good stats. It's not super cheap, but it has good stats. It gives you what you want, and it's like, you know, it's all fine and dandy. The reason why this item gets strong, / very strong, is when you utilize its passive. And now you might be like saying, oh, Karn, but like 25% increased healing, like this is not the utilization of the passive? Is this not strong enough already? Your healing from your passive in team fights basically doesn't do anything, so just forget about it. What you need this to do is to boost your Sterk shield and arguably, preferably, your Sundered Sky healing as well. If you combine all these three items, then Spirit actually gets a very strong, it's very valuable. The value is, you know, skyrockets. But the problem is that we're talking about 6-item build, and you can barely ever get to 6 items and utilize Spirit to its fullest potential. That's the reason why I'm going to put it pretty much at the top of the B tier. Um, it's good, but we have the other magic resistance item in the game right now, which in my opinion is stronger. So that's why it goes here. Strikebreaker, I put this item here for I don't even know what reason. But I'm just gonna put it like at the end of the B tier. It got buffed recently. This is the main reason why I put it in there, because it got buffed. It provides a lot of stats, and that's really it. It also provides very potent movement speed buff for 3 seconds, actually. If you use it at the right time, this actually might surprise your opponents. Personally, I would never build this. In reality, I looked at this item stats, and there is a lot of them, and they're useful in general. Especially the active. Active is amazing. I'll be honest. Active is very good. So I decided, alright man, you know what? I'm just gonna put it like somewhere like next to Hullbreaker, for example. I think this is the perfect spot for this item, next to Hullbreaker. That's like spot on. Right? I'm not gonna flame you for building it, but you know, it's just mostly for experiments. Alright, Sunfire, somewhere around here, probably. Look, I know that the aura can do a lot. Nasus is a champion that gets a lot of health, and it will scale, and yes. But, like, let's be honest, if you're building Sunfire instead of, for example, Randuin's, or even this, or this, then you're doing something wrong, probably. It's just like, it's mostly for clearing the waves faster in the side lane. And this is the item that will give you arguably more side lane potential. So that's why it kind of makes sense for me to put it like next to each other. But I think that this is still probably worse than Deadman's. I mean, this gives you Swifty's passive, at least, at the same time. Thornmail, B tier, but honestly, like at the very end of the B tier. And you want to build this item really when there is like a lot of heal. We're talking about Aatrox plus Sylas combo, right? Or, you know, maybe even against Aatrox solo, it's gonna be fine. But other than that, the item provides very little stats. It's cheap, yes, but it's just... Honestly, this season, you just don't want to be building it all that much, man. Warwick, yeah, for example, something like this. Yeah. You don't want to be building it that much. Titanic Hydra, we're going to put this item in the B tier for sure. Probably also, like, kind of close to these items, right? Titanic Hydra, look, if... Oh, that's a good example. If you're looking to push waves faster, just build this instead of this. Instead of Sunfire. Just build this item. It will give you a lot of damage also, because it scales with health. Nasus has a lot of health, especially during his ult. So this is like another item that could be compared to this. With this item, you're probably going to have the biggest single target damage. This item is used to open up tanks and penetrate their armor. And this item is like a combination of both, but at the same time, weaker combination of both, but at the same time, you push waves faster. So, depending on the situation, you might just pick one of those, and they might be useful for the right time, right? And they're going to be better than the inferior options. Like, if you're looking for armor penetration, buy this, not this. If you're looking for a faster wave clear, buy this, not this, right? If you're looking for more single target damage, buy this, not this. It just goes on and on. It's just finding the better options, right? These three options, these three items are good. They're good items. Triforce, bada beam. Now, as much as I hate doing this, there is only pretty much one Sheen item that is worth building right now in the game, with the removal of Sunder, and it's called Triforce. Triforce is not a great item, but it's necessary, and it just pains me to say that. But like, Nasus without Sheen doesn't work unless you're playing vegetable slave Nasus and you just Emaxing and you're going full tank. But even if you're going full tank, you still probably want to buy Iceborne first. So so it's not even vegetable Nasus builds Sheen, man. So this is like, Nasus without Sheen doesn't really, this champion doesn't really work without Sheen, man. I'm afraid. and it's been proven time and time again for years. I don't remember. I started playing this game in Nasus in Season 1. I don't remember a single freaking meta in 14 years when Nasus was not building Triforce. Excuse me, a Sheen item. I don't remember a single one. So, I mean, what else is there to say? It scales to redeem this item a little bit. It scales well with lethal tempo. The AD and attack speed are not wasted, at least, because with tempo you actually attack very, very fast. Also, it makes you push faster compared to Iceborne. So you will be a bigger threat in the side lane. You will move a little bit faster because of this 20 movement speed when you hit something passive. It's kind of whatever. I would much more prefer if it was just providing like 4% movement speed permanently. That would be so good. But yeah, Triforce is a must-have. Not because of how good it is. It's because how Nasus works. It's a must-have, and that's all there is to it. Varmox C tier. It makes no sense to build this item on Nasus, realistically speaking. It provides a lot of health, a little bit of movement speed, and that's it really. Nasus has regeneration. It's not D tier because it provides movement speed and a lot of health. I mean, this is already enough not to put it in D tier. But regeneration occasionally might be useful as well. Occasionally. But this is, in general, would be better for champions that can regenerate by themselves. Nasus has a lot of lifesteal, so especially with Sheen procs, Nasus can lifesteal very fast from the minions or from the jungle if necessary. Varmox it's just not it for Nasus, man. On top of that, I don't think I saw anyone build this item a single time since the season started. I don't think I saw a single time. I already played 100 games this season. A single time anyone building this. Not a single time. I think it's the same for Jackshow as well. Nobody's building these two. So it's like 3 items that nobody builds. So Riot, maybe you should look at this, because it seems like if nobody's building them at all, then maybe there's a problem. And then we jump into boots. Bada beam. Bada boom. Bada boom. And bada boom. Alright, let's just put it in C. Alright, Lucidity's self-explanatory, very cheap. Summer spell haste, which is insanely good. It gives you more ghosts and more flashes. You can use them more often, which is unbelievably huge for Nasus. 15 ability haste and 900 gold price. It's just A tier. You can technically look, if you really want, you can build these boots in every game, and it's not gonna be grief. If you really like, oh no man, I just loved so much that last season I could build the same items every game. It was always the best build pretty much. I just like that so much. Look, this season is going to be a little bit different, but if you really want to just not even look at an enemy team comp, you can just buy these every game and it's not going to be grief. You can do that. Now, Tabi and Mercs are obviously could be used for specific reasons, and these reasons are Tabi into full AD, but there is a difference between full AD and Tabi into a lot of auto attackers. There is a difference between full AD and full auto attack. If you're building Tabi into Aatrox, Talon, freaking not auto attacking champion, another one, that's AD, then you probably wasted boot slot. You should probably go this still. But if you're building this into double auto attacker, then it's totally fine, and you can build these and it's gonna be fine. The same with Mercs. If you see CC in every enemy champion, then Mercs totally fine. Other than that, you just go back to this, and that's all there is to it. Swifties C tier, I would be willing to put them in D tier even, but I feel like C tier is fine because they're cheap. At the end of the C tier, to me, it's just like I don't know where you would want to. When do you want to buy these? Why the hell would you want to buy these over these? Is my number one question. Because with Legend and Nasty Rune, with this, and with this, and with, let's just say Elixir, you would probably like reach 65-70% tenacity or something like that. So your slows already don't last really long. So why would you need slow resistance at this point? Just like, bruh. I'm gonna put it in D. Alright, and now the item. Let's just, guys, let's just pretend that this item. What color is Rukern? It's like blue, right? Let's just pretend that this item is Rukern. Rukern, the item that gives you a magic resistance shield. This item goes in A tier. Remember my explanation on Spirit Visage? Why it's like, you know, why is it in B? And the way it scales well with healing and with shielding. Rukern, when you complete it as a, let's just say, third item in your like, you know, everyday build, you get very, very massive amount of tankiness right away. You don't need to supplement, like with Spirit, your passive with other items. You just get tanky against AP damage. You just get tanky. And the thing is that's amazing about this item is that this magic resistance shield will pretty much never be useless. There are very rare situations where this shield is not going to completely deplete before you die, and it's going to be wasted. So this is like a straight up health multiplier pretty much. And you can forget that it's not going to deplete before you die if you're against 2 or more AP champions. Even against 1 AP champion, this will be very useful. Even against 1. But against 1, you could probably consider Spirit Visage a little bit more, right? But if you're playing against 2 or more, then Rukern is for sure A tier, and it's just strong, man. It's strong. And I hope that Riot is not going to nerf it, because who knows, right? But it's just strong, and it is what it is. Alright, so that's the full tier list. And I told you that I'm going to give you the item build, what I'm going usually. So what I do, I'm just gonna show you on the example of this. What I do is Triforce first. There are rare occasions where you could go just Sheen and then Frozen Heart first instead. But they're very rare. So like, you know, if you want to bully Tryndamere or something, you could actually rush this and you can just AFK farm in top lane for next, like, you know, whatever, how long you want. But Triforce into this item, into Rukern. Then, in many cases, I build Sterix. Also, keep in mind, if you're looking for some resistances and you feel like Sterix is going to be better, you just want some resistance. You can just buy, for example, Warden's Mail and sit on it, and then later build into this or this, depending on what you need. That's a very good strategy. If you just build Warden's Mail, then like, I mean, I already have 180 armor with my ult up. I don't really need more. I'm gonna wait and see what they build, and then I'm gonna, you know, build accordingly. That's an amazing idea, by the way. You can totally go for that. But your second armor item is gonna be this or this. That's it. These are the best armor items in Season 14 right now. That's literally it. And then Sterix, usually 4th item, again, if you decide that you just want to sit on components. So let's just say you're going to build Warden's Mail from this. You're going to buy a Negatron Cloak from this for some magic resistance. Here's some armor. And you can go straight up Sterix. That's also a viable option. You can do that. And then the last item, depending on what you need, you can literally pick majority of these items from the B tier list. I'll be leaning towards this item. But that's not, I'm not saying that others could be bad. You could totally buy one of these 3, for example, for extra damage and pressure. You could buy even additional magic resistance or additional armor item. If you really feel like, you know, you're dying fast or something, you could, for example, buy additional armor item or magic resistance. It's fine. You could buy this. There are many options. So that's going to be it. Thanks for watching, guys. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments. Try to read them all and to answer as many as I can.